Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we plunge into fascinating sources to extract the insights that matter most to you. Today, we're tackling a question that weighs on many aspiring professionals and entrepreneurs. Do you truly need an expensive traditional MBA to achieve mastery in the business world? We're diving into the compelling framework offered by the Personal MBA, Mastering Business Essentials by Josh Kaufman. This book, it's been an international bestseller for over a decade now, and it doesn't just offer advice, it really challenges the whole narrative of conventional business education. Offers a clear alternative, actually.
Yeah, what's really compelling here is Kaufman's core premise. He argues that world-class business knowledge is entirely accessible, through focused study, practical application, and just plain curiosity, all without the institutional constraints or, frankly, the prohibitive cost.
Right.
He distilled this essential knowledge after his own time at Procter & Gamble. So Kaufman basically offers a manifesto for independent learners. This deep dive isn't just about a book, it's about a methodology, a really robust way to understand how businesses truly work.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Our mission is to navigate Kaufman's framework, uncover his most practical principles, and show you how to cultivate that mindset of an entrepreneur or a leader or a strategist, regardless of your formal background. Get ready to maybe see the invisible threads that connect every successful business venture. So Kaufman isn't just selling a book here. He's really advocating for a fundamental shift in how we approach understanding business. If we strip away the jargon and the abstract theories, what's the core philosophy he wants us to grasp?
Well, he argues that business isn't some mysterious art form, but really a set of universally applicable interconnected principles. It's simpler than you think. He breaks this complexity down, simplifies it into 7 essential areas: value creation, marketing, sales, value delivery, finance, human mind and behavior, and systems thinking. This structure, it's not just a list. It's a comprehensive and honestly highly practical roadmap. It's like a mental operating system for understanding any enterprise, big or small. And what's powerful is his insistence that mastery in these areas doesn't actually require a classroom, just dedicated study and application.
Kaufman, quite rightly, starts right at the absolute foundation. He basically says, if you're not creating value, you have a hobby, not a business. It's fundamentally about solving problems for others or fulfilling desires. That sounds simple, but what's one common way people actually fail at this very first really critical step?
Indeed. It's a common pitfall. Many people assume their idea is value rather than testing if it actually creates value for others.
Yeah.
They build something they think people want instead of identifying a real unmet need first.
Right. They fall in love with their own solution.
Exactly.
Okay.
And Kaufman introduces the 5 parts of every business: creating value, marketing, sales, value delivery, and finance. The key insight here, and what many overlook, is that all 5 must function seamlessly, like gears in a machine. If any single link is broken, the entire chain just collapses. That means the business fails. You can't just excel at 1 or 2. They're totally interconnected. An ecosystem.
This is where it gets really interesting, I think, especially for aspiring entrepreneurs. Kaufman reveals the 12 standard forms of value, which is genuinely eye-opening. It forces you to realize business models go far beyond just making and selling a physical product. What are a couple of these less obvious forms that might surprise people? How do they open up possibilities?
Oh, definitely. Think about shared resources like, say, Airbnb. The value there comes from efficiently matching people with assets that are underutilized. Or subscriptions like Netflix or Spotify. They offer predictable access rather than just one-off purchases. It changes the whole customer relationship.
That makes sense.
Then there's leasing equipment or agency work, providing specialized expertise, or even auditing for critical assessments. Kaufman challenges us to see that the form of value can be just as innovative as the value itself. It unlocks new market opportunities, lets you differentiate even with existing solutions. It just broadens your entire perspective on what a business can even be, moving beyond physical goods to services, access, information.
Okay, so once you've successfully created genuine value, the next hurdle is getting people to notice it. Kaufman makes a strong point that in our, hyper-connected world, attention is arguably the scarcest resource. Even the most brilliant product or service will just languish if no one knows it exists. How do you cut through all that noise?
Well, this raises an important and often uncomfortable question. How do you ensure there's real demand for what you offer? He presents the iron law of the market. It basically states your business needs real, proven demand to succeed. Passion alone, while great, isn't enough to build a viable enterprise.
That's a tough truth for a lot of founders.
It is. It's a stark reminder you have to build something people genuinely want, not just something you love creating. And the critical bit, often overlooked, is the need to test for that demand before you invest heavily. Don't just assume.
And what about pricing? That feels related.
Absolutely. He introduces the pricing uncertainty principle, which is a fascinating psychological insight. It reminds us that customers often don't truly know an item's intrinsic worth until you anchor it with a price. That price then guides their perception of value. Like placing a luxury item next to a cheaper one makes a mid-range option seem more reasonable.
Like comparative pricing.
Exactly. It's a powerful tool for shaping how customers perceive the value you're offering. And to guide us through this marketing maze, he breaks it down into 5 essential components: attention, interest, desire, action, and satisfaction. It's often called AIDA. But Kaufman importantly adds satisfaction to emphasize the long-term relationship.
Right, it's not just about the initial sale.
Precisely. It's not just about getting noticed. It's a powerful sequential journey. It shows you how to move someone from complete unawareness to becoming a loyal, repeat customer. Each step builds on the last.
So if marketing successfully draws people in, gets them to the door, piques their interest, what's Kaufman's take on the crucial next step? How do we actually guide them through that door to a successful transaction? Sales, essentially.
Here, trust is absolutely paramount. Without it, no transaction happens, full stop. People simply won't open their wallets if they don't trust you, your product, or your service. It's fundamental. Kaufman uses the familiar sales funnel concept to illustrate how prospects move from initial awareness through interest and desire all the way to making a purchase. And you need different approaches at each stage.
Makes sense.
Crucially, he advocates for value-based selling. This means focusing on genuinely solving a customer's problem better than the alternatives. It's not about manipulation or, aggressive hard-selling tactics. It's about being a helpful consultant, not just a pushy salesperson. That builds long-term relationships.
One of the most striking points here for me was the pricing power principle. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, that's a big one. It's the ability to raise prices without significantly losing customers. It's really a hallmark of businesses with strong brands, exceptional value, and crucially, loyal followings. Think of a premium brand like Apple, or maybe a niche artisan brand people love. They can command higher prices because of perceived quality and trust.
So it's a sign you're doing things right.
Exactly. It's a major driver of long-term profitability and a clear indicator that a business has truly delivered value and built solid customer relationships. It secures the future beyond just getting those initial sales.
So you've done the hard work, created value, marketed it well, closed the sale. Now what? Kaufman really stresses that the real work delivering on your promises begins right after the transaction. Why is value delivery so critical?
Because poor value delivery is, frankly, a business killer. It just eradicates trust. It leads to negative word of mouth, and ultimately, it eliminates repeat business. And remember, a one-time sale doesn't make a sustainable business. Recurring customers do.
True.
This links directly to what he calls the expectation effect. Customers don't judge value objectively. They judge it against what they expected. So meeting, or ideally exceeding those expectations, is what ensures deep satisfaction and loyalty. Furthermore, the efficiency formula teaches us that delivering value with less waste and effort directly increases profitability. It's about constantly refining processes, maintaining rigorous quality control, and providing exceptional customer support, making every interaction positive.
Okay, let's talk finance. For many people, myself included sometimes, finance feels like this intimidating, opaque world. Numbers, jargon, but Kaufman demystifies it. He just calls it keeping score. How does he make finance accessible?
He brings it right back to the absolute essentials. Profit equals revenue minus cost. Now, while the equation itself is fundamentally simple, Kaufman reminds us that its simplicity often masks the complexity of its levers. How do you actually change those numbers? So he details the 4 methods to increase revenue, which are clear, actionable levers any business owner can pull, which are increase price, increase the quantity you sell, reduce your costs, or improve efficiency. Simple levers, but powerful. These aren't just theoretical, they are practical, everyday tools for improving financial health.
He also highlights a really critical distinction, one that can make or break a business but often gets overlooked: cash flow versus profit.
Yes, this is so important. A business can look profitable on paper, showing healthy revenues, but still fail miserably if it doesn't have enough actual cash moving through it. Cash to pay its bills day to day. You can have a profitable product, sure, but if customers pay you in 90 days and your suppliers demand payment in 30,
you've got a serious cash flow problem.
Exactly. Profit on paper doesn't pay the rent. Cash does. And to make finance even more accessible, he introduces mental shortcuts. Things like the rule of 72.
Oh yeah, for estimating doubling time.
Right, for quickly estimating how long it takes for an investment to double at a given interest rate. These aren't just for seasoned accountants or investors. They're powerful tools for anyone running a business, managing personal finances, or just evaluating opportunities. They empower you to make smarter, quicker decisions without needing, a deep accounting degree.
Now, this next part is where Kaufman truly sets himself apart from many traditional business texts. He deeply integrates human psychology. How do our minds, with all their quirks and biases, really influence business decisions and customer behavior?
Oh, profoundly. He delves into critical concepts like cognitive biases, those systematic errors in thinking that affect our judgments. Things like confirmation bias, where we only seek out info that confirms what we already believe.
We all do that.
We do. And loss aversion, where the pain of losing something feels much stronger than the pleasure of gaining something equivalent. And anchoring, where the first piece of information we get heavily colors all subsequent judgments. These aren't just abstract ideas. They deeply impact customer decisions and even how entrepreneurs make strategic choices.
And the lizard brain.
Right, the lizard brain, that primitive part of our brain driving fear, resistance, impulse. Understanding that is critical, whether you're trying to persuade a customer or just manage your own reactions to business challenges and uncertainty. Knowing these biases means you can anticipate behavior better.
And it's not just about understanding customers, right? He applies psychology internally too.
Absolutely. For productivity, he discusses flow states, how to design work environments and tasks to maximize focus and deep work. That leads to higher output and satisfaction. For problem solving, there's the fivefold why technique. You keep asking why repeatedly to dig down to the root causes of issues instead of just treating the symptoms.
Get past the surface level.
Exactly. Understanding these psychological principles is critical for everything from crafting persuasive marketing to effective self-management and truly insightful team leadership.
Finally, Kaufman zooms out. He invites us to see businesses not as these isolated departments, but as interconnected, dynamic systems. Why is that systemic perspective so powerful?
Well, thinking in terms of systems allows entrepreneurs to spot bottlenecks. That's the single constraint limiting the overall performance of the whole system. It also helps anticipate the often unintended consequences of changes you might make. Optimizing one part might overload another if you don't see the whole picture.
Like squeezing a balloon.
Precisely. He explains feedback loops, both the positive ones that drive growth like good word of mouth leading to more sales, and the negative ones that stabilize things, like a thermostat maintaining temperature. And it's about optimization, improving systems incrementally, continuously, rather than striving for some elusive, paralyzing perfection. It's about making small, consistent enhancements that compound over time.
This systemic approach seems absolutely essential for adaptability then.
It is. It allows you to design businesses that are resilient, that can scale effectively and thrive in a constantly changing environment, because you understand how each part influences the whole and can react strategically. You're building a robust, living machine, not just a collection of static parts.
So we've seen how the Personal MBA strips away the jargon, provides this incredibly robust toolkit of actionable concepts across every facet of business. It really is a blueprint for strategic thinking, whether you're dreaming of a side hustle, leading a team, or growing a larger organization.
Its true power, I really believe, lies in self-empowerment. Kaufman isn't saying traditional MBAs are useless, let's be clear. He's just clearly demonstrating that world-class business knowledge and genuine mastery are attainable through self-directed learning, practice, and the right mindset, all without the prohibitive debt or the institutional constraints.
So for some roles or industries, an MBA might still be useful.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Highly regulated industries, maybe roles where extensive networks are the primary currency or specific accreditations are needed. A traditional MBA might still be a powerful accelerant there. But his profound point is that the core knowledge, the mastery itself, is fundamentally accessible to everyone, regardless of that institutional credential. He proves you don't need permission to learn or to start a business. You just need curiosity and a willingness to apply these timeless principles.
This deep dive into the Personal MBA has really shown us that the blueprint for business success isn't hidden behind some high-priced tuition fee or within the walls of an elite institution. It's about understanding fundamental principles, applying them consistently, testing your assumptions rigorously, and always staying fiercely curious.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, Kaufman's work really underscores a timeless truth. Knowledge is most valuable when it's understood, applied, and adapted to your unique circumstances. Which I think raises an important question for you, our listener. How will you use these insights? Maybe to critically evaluate the businesses around you or identify an unmet need, or perhaps even create value and solve a problem in your own world, whether that's within a large organization or building something entirely new, without waiting for external permission or some formal invitation. What one principle, maybe just one, will you put into practice this week?
Until next time, keep digging, keep learning, and keep creating value.